Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. You probably don't even need to wear this hat, but I am. Such a pleasant, God, such a pleasant day. Austin, Texas. Just saw a nice movie, a classic, When Harry Met Sally. Hard to believe this movie was made in 1989 because it is so timely. It's timeless, okay? If you've never seen this movie, I would suggest you go see it. I got to see this thing on the big screen, which is nice. But of course, it's probably on all the streamings and all the whatever the fucks. Actually, if you haven't heard of Hoopla, Hoopla is an app that you can get like a lot of stuff for free. Probably this movie's in there. A lot of material in your public library system, if you know what that is, you can get for free on Hoopla. Not everything, but a lot of stuff. So word to the goddamn wise. So let me, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you've seen the movie, but maybe you're a younger person or you haven't, maybe you just haven't seen this movie. And you want to know, gee whiz, Mike, is the hype worth it? This When Harry Met Sally movie. It gives me a lot of thoughts. First of all, I mean, what a darling America. See, that's when America's sweetheart meant something for Meg Ryan. Who would be America's sweetheart now? I don't think we have one. I think we have an America's slut heart. How about that? The Kim Kardashians and the so forth. Not to pick on people, but why not? Not to slut shame, but why not? I mean, is there anyone that you could say, gee whiz, this person, I mean, maybe fucking Sandra Bullock 20 years ago, I don't know. I mean, who the fuck knows? But in any event, Meg Ryan, so lovable. The curly hair is kind of interesting. Billy Crystal, whatever fucking happened to him? When you see Billy Crystal, I mean, the guy, I listened to his book on tape a couple of years ago. I'd like to see more of Billy Crystal. He did a movie a few years ago with someone of popular, someone who's kind of popular, kind of hated, this comedian. They did a movie together, but I'd like to see more of Billy Crystal. I think the Oscars went downhill when he stopped hosting. I think Billy Crystal was like a guy, he puts on a fucking tuxedo, he comes out, he's chipper, he makes people feel good about themselves, good about filmmaking, good about Hollywood. Light-hearted jokes, song and dance man, makes you feel good, but not a kiss ass like a Jimmy Fallon type, who's just whimpering and always just coddling. Billy Crystal was just a real sharp fucking entertainer, and I think we need, I don't think he's that old. I think he could just come back and do his thing. I would think about Billy Crystal, it's like this movie, When Harry Met Sally, I really feel it's like the spiritual predecessor in some ways, in many ways, in so many ways, to the Seinfeld show, the Seinfeld Chronicles, later just Seinfeld. That New York kind of shticky, quick dialogue, humor. The Sally and Harry relationship is not too different from Elaine and Jerry on Seinfeld. Also, when I think of Billy Crystal, like this was kind of the guy that was like the Tom Hanks guy before Tom Hanks was Tom Hanks. And, Meg Ryan was kind of the transitional co-star for those two, or, co-lead, not that she's their surrogate or their support system. But if you think about it, Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks, Sleepless in Seattle, I mean, couldn't that have been Billy Crystal in Sleepless in Seattle? It kind of seems like Tom Hanks kind of took over these roles. And then Billy Crystal did something, I think, called Forget Paris, which was kind of, like the same type of romantic comedy shit. But did Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan ever do a movie with each other before or after When Harry Met Sally? It kind of feels like they should have. I mean, maybe they didn't want to feel like they were trying to reunite the fucking Harry and Sally chemistry, but I mean, what else are they going to do? I mean, I can't think of them doing another movie together beyond this, but I wish they had. I don't know if it could have matched it. I mean, but I guess you didn't. Well, the other thing that I get from this whole experience of watching this movie is like life is just so fleeting, folks. I mean, you look at the people in this movie. Carrie Fisher, she's no longer with us. But she was very good in this movie as the friend of Meg Ryan's character, and she ends up with Bruno Kirby. Bruno Kirby is like one of those 80s, 90s guys that's kind of gone by the wayside. Like, he used to be like the Rob Schneider to Adam Sandler. Like, Billy Crystal would always throw with this Bruno Kirby a bone, whether it was this one or City Slickers, whatever the fuck happened to Bruno Kirby. You know, like, is he still with us? I think he is. I mean, I haven't heard anything, but life is fleeting, folks. It also seems, in my humble opinion, you know, I think life was just more enjoyable without some of our modern conveniences. Of course, how would you modernly, conveniently enjoy my film review without this phone that I'm using? So hypocrisies abound. So, you know, these instruments that we use, you know, they affect our retention, they affect our attention span, but yet here I am using this wonderful smartphone for your enjoyment of my review. You can't really, I mean, how do you criticize this movie? I mean, the only kind of unturned thing in this thing, the documentary sort of style, like basically you're seeing all these couples, all these elderly couples for the most part, are discussing their marriage, and then we cut to, and that's kind of like the time breaks for the story, which takes place basically over 12 years and 3 months with these two, Harry and Sally. They go from college in Chicago, 1977, then they go to New York. And I do give them credit. I mean, they're great actors. Obviously, the two of them, I don't know how old they were when this movie was filmed. I guess somewhere between 35 and 40. And they're basically playing characters from age 20 to 30. I mean, I think Meg might have been 5 or 6 years younger than Billy Crystal. But they're playing characters with a 12-year lifespan, and they're not doing major... They had no fucking CGI. It's just actors acting well. And I think they did give Billy a bit of a hairpiece for his 20-something, which looked pretty good. I mean, the two of them as college students, it's good that we don't harbor in there for too long because they don't really look like they're 21 years old, you know, recent college graduates. They do look a bit older, but, you know, it's a movie, so we go with it. The infamous and famous deli scene, I'll have what she's having. What a mic drop. As you probably know, that's the director, I believe, was it Rob Reiner who directed this thing? Meathead from from All in the Family. That'd be a good show. Alice in the Family. If you took, you know, Alice and Vera and Flo and Mel from the sitcom Alice and put them in with Archie Bunker and Edith and had like Alice in the Family. Like you had Alice like moved, like not even like they had Mel's Diner next door to Archie Bunker, but they just moved all these crazy characters, you know, into the All in the Family house. Wouldn't that be a fun show? Alice in the Family. How about that, Norman Lear? Let me, is he still alive? I don't even know who's alive anymore. I mean, Christ. I will say this, seeing a movie like this, which was made in 1989, and they're making all these references, I guess, to Bogey and Bacall and Casablanca, and, you know, every generation references shit from the prior generations, like, oh, you know, and when I was a young man growing up in the game, coming up in the game, as they say, who's they, them, they would often, you know, cite these old black and white movies. Like a lot of, when I was growing up, I'd always see Jimmy Durante impersonations, but I really didn't know who the fuck Jimmy Durante was, you know what I mean? You'd always see like these references to Casablanca, play it again, Sam, and you weren't sure what the fuck was going on. So then as you get a little bit older and you dig through and you find out that these source materials. But with kids these days, with the turnover so quickly, you know, I mean, is Kylie Jenner, is she like a reference point now? Like, are we referencing her buying a Pepsi for the police officer at the Riot commercial? Is that a cultural tipping point, or just nobody gives a shit but me, apparently? So all these things, and there's so many things, you know, pop culture is fleeting, culture in general is fleeting, life is fleeting, everything is fleeting, you know, and I compare and contrast, you know, I did see Meg Ryan's David Duchovny movie recently, and, you know, I mean, God, I mean, nobody stays young and beautiful forever, right? But I mean, but I like this movie. I mean, it's just a classic film. It's a wonderful film. It's basically an instant classic. And I think the sound clip of "Can men and women be friends?" I mean, there's a lot of shit in this movie that's just stand-up comedy material that Billy kind of takes from his stand-up act, because there's like parts of this movie where it's like, okay, Billy's just going into a routine. I believe at the time Roger Ebert took issue with the Ethiopian restaurant joke that's in this movie, but it's like, hey, that's part of the character. The character has a dark side, as they say. And I think that's one thing Billy Crystal in general is good at. He's good at showing all of humanity. Like we do have these cryptic jokes and these dark sides, but he doesn't go too dark, you know what I mean? But anyway, I mean, I like the movie. It is one of those deals where you kind of wonder, oh, here's people coming. Why did Harry and Sally take so long, even after they fornicated late into the movie kind of takes it downhill once they fornicate, because then it just becomes another, boy chases after girl, emotions type of shit. I mean, but we wrap it up soon thereafter, which is good. But how can you not love Sally? How can you not love Meg Ryan as Sally? What a role. Great performance. I don't think anyone could have done it better. I mean, I think the perfect matchup. I don't think Hanks could have played Harry better. I don't think Julia Roberts, could have done Sally better. And in fact, I don't think Julia Roberts was even famous until another year after this with Pretty and Woman. And she was probably, 5 or 6 years younger than Meg Ryan, so it wouldn't look too right with her and Billy. And she's so tall, Julia Roberts. So anyway, I just like the movie. I'm glad that no one's ever tried to make a sequel of it or a remake of it. Can you imagine if they try to take some shitheads, Sydney Sweeney and whoever the fuck, whoever. I can't even think of any asshole that could pull this off. You know what I mean? But I like the movie. Blah, blah, blah. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good speeches. Billy, I love that little wrinkle in your fucking eyebrow. Whatever the fuck. So, I'm being distracted right now. I mean, I don't want to exploit anybody, but I have to say that when I went into the theater, the ticket taker for my phone app, because I used my phone app, was a as they might say, a little person, and I always feel like I'm going to have a good day when I interact. Like, I don't want to be exploitive, but I just feel like if I encounter a little person, like, I'm going to have a good day. Like, it's a little sign of luck for me, and I guess those folks, they could say, hey, if I encounter a tall person, I'm going to have a good day. So every day could be a good day for them. See, that's dialogue. There's a few things about this movie I didn't like. When Bruno Kirby's character says, I'm a writer, I know dialogue. Like, how does some of these things in this movie work is like, the dialogue is so quick and back and forth, but the music is a good contrast, because you've got the Harry Connick music. He was a big thing in that era. He was a big thing, like a nostalgia guy, like a retro guy, the big band sound and all that crap. And then you've got, it had to be you, whoever the fuck that was. I don't know who the fuck sang that. I mean, was it the guy with the blew up the cheeks and the trombone? Was that him? But I mean, you have all these like classic kind of love songs that are kind of slow and melancholy. And then you have the witty back and forth dialogue. You would think, well, this movie, it's all talking, it's all dialogue. This is not going to be a big budget. But if you think about it, they do have NFL footage from the Buffalo Bills. They're shooting, I believe it's actually New York City, so I'm sure they had to cut off some streets and some locations. There's a guy in a cowboy hat walking around now with a dog. I am in Texas, so you see things. Anytime I see someone walking around with a cowboy hat, I kind of think like they're rich or famous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't that be reserved for rich and famous people to walk around with a cowboy hat? You know what I mean? But I guess here in Texas, it's expected. You know what I mean? You're supposed to walk around with a cowboy hat. So, I mean, I've seen a cowboy, I've seen a little person. I mean, this is This is an all-star day for me. There's a Bath and Body Works with somebody coming out. Very exciting. Before the movie, I was trying to get some yogurt into my system, into my chest, my stomach. I like to eat yogurt first thing in the morning. I'm here in Austin, Texas for this film festival. I do not have my own personal refrigerator. I don't know where anything is. Austin's very difficult to drive around. So I find this movie theater first, and I'm like, hopefully there's a grocery store near it, and there kind of was. But it's this thing called Fresh Market. It's basically Whole Foods, same type of operation. Fucking huge, cavernous place. Has this giant, and everything's bigger in Texas, this giant cafe. I mean, huge, like the size of maybe 200 people can sit in this thing. And I'm just looking for a fucking thing of yogurt because I'm like rushing. It's 12:01. The movie's supposed to start at 12:05. And the fucking store is so big, and there's so many goddamn people in this Fresh Market walking near me. Just people walking and furiously walking. And I'm like, I just need some space from you assholes. Like, can all you people that know where you're going, go there, and I'll just patiently walk and look for the fucking yogurt? Point is, I couldn't find any fucking yogurt, and I didn't want to ask anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And some asshole guy was like, I could hear his little footsteps. Like, this guy was not a little person, so it would have been more fun. He was like 5'8", and just like walking like very, furiously behind me, that he's upset that I'm, moping around the goddamn aisle looking casually for yogurt. I'm still waking up at this point. And eventually I just said, to hell with it. Like, I can't look for yogurt. There's too many people in here right now. There's hot chicken in the fucking things, like $5.99 for a whole hot chicken. They're very exciting. And I'm like, I'd really like to sit here and eat this hot chicken and a fucking thing of yogurt and take my time. But it's 12:01. The movie starts at 12:05. Well, shit be my sister. Guess what? By the time I got to the theater, yes, I was the only one in the theater. Regal Cinema once again. Nice reclining seat. Huge seat. Jacksonville, take note, Regal Cinema. I mean, the seats here in fucking Austin are nice recliners in this Regal. This Regal is a great cinema. And I'm sitting there. I'm the only one by myself in this whole giant theater watching When Harry Met Sally. I'm closing the doors because I don't want to hear other movies going on. I'm reclining. I'm taking off my shoes, thank you very much. I'm cracking my neck. And I'm enjoying myself like I'm the president of the goddamn United States, because I'm sitting there watching this wonderful film in my private screening room. And, I just enjoyed it. So what can I tell you? But I mean, the point is, I didn't get to have my nice meal. I just had to tell myself, hey, look, the movie's only an hour and 46 minutes. But little did I fucking know, the movie that was supposed to, said the scheduled time of 12:05, I'm used to the 20 minutes of previews in Jacksonville. You have a 20-minute gap period. But sometimes when they play these retro movies, you don't get any previews for new movies. So I just thought, well, maybe there won't be any previews. I better get there on time because I don't want to miss the opening beat of this Harry Met Sally experience. Well, guess what? The movie didn't start till 12:30. So I'm sitting there like an asshole for 25 minutes thinking I should be eating hot chicken, okay? So anyway, now I have to catch up. Now I have to go eat the fucking hot chicken. This film festival, and it's probably the same chicken that was there 3 hours ago, okay? Because I spent 20 minutes talking to you people, and now I have to go, and the chicken's been on the fucking oven lamp all day now, whereas 2.5, 3 hours ago was probably hot and fresh from the processor, wherever the fuck the chicken comes from. So now I have to go get the fucking yogurt, and it's like I have to reboot myself. But I was so tired before this movie, and I just, catching up on sleep and all these people and driving around Austin, so difficult with the traffic and the speed. Everyone's so happy to drive fast around here with these on-ramps that are so sudden, and it's so scary. So anyway, folks, that's the idea. Well, I will see you later. MikeMessier.com. Distance from Avalon. You can actually buy my fucking book. All these asshole friends of mine say, oh, gee whiz, Mike, you do so much. You write so many books. You make so many movies. Well, subscribe to the goddamn YouTube channel. Buy a fucking book. I mean, Christ. Do I have to spell it fucking out for you? Apparently I do. Do your fucking part to support my antics. Goodbye.